Hi everybody, it's Matt Halls from The Happy Show and from Comics Limited in Evansville, Indiana. This is yet another update on the status of my artwork and my pursuit to get credit, proper credit and official recognition from the EVSC, the Evansville Vanderburg School Corporation, and Central High School here in Evansville, Indiana, for a bear that I drew, which they have used now for 3 decades pretty much. It will be going on its 30th year in this coming year of 2017. I had a meeting with the EVSC, and while I finally got to address a lot of this stuff and talk to these people directly about this matter, they were still kind of putting up a wall of resistance to actually giving me my proper credit. They seem to be wanting to spin things, of course. They were, apparently, let me see here. I met with Pamela Height, who is part of the EVSC, and Jason Wepkenberg. Sorry, dude, I can't pronounce your name too properly. He apparently, let's see, he is the new Chief Communication Officer for the Evansville Vanderburg School Corporation. He's appointed in, it looks like February of this year, 2016. And Pamela Height was also just recently appointed. She is the Director of Marketing and Social Media. And I also met with Paula Neidig, who's the Director of Staff in the Athletics Department for the EVSC. Paul Neidig is the person I communicated with in the past over this matter back in 2012 when I sent a letter, and he responded at that time with another letter. And then I actually asked him to explain things in his letter, and he had ignored me up to this point. Now, today at the meeting, armed with the 2 other people there, he tried to explain and rationalize what he meant, and so they continuously said that they weren't saying I didn't draw the bear drawing. Their question is the one in use. They're trying to really split hairs there. I have drawings here, examples of the bear drawings and how it was used. Now this is nothing on this page is my drawing here. This is drawings from the How to Draw book. How to Draw Bears book. You can see, by the way, you can see these drawings and the comparisons and such on my blog, which I will have address for in the video and a link to in the descriptions for the video. And the How to Draw Bear book is where they got an image from 1983 yearbook from Central, which was then part of the basis, because it's the same drawing from How to Draw Bears book, was that bear drawing and another bear drawing was combined to make a mural for the gymnasium. And that mural is what I was asked in 1987 to do my version of, and by David Kaler, the teacher at the time. And that's why I submitted. But it is my drawing that's being used at Central, and in so many of these promotional items and promotional and marketing and all that other stuff. And the banner at their school that hangs has my bear image on it. It's basically the image of the bear, the official image of the bear, and it is my drawing that they've done, while they continue to kind of dispute this while admitting that they've used my artwork. This is examples here, and I don't know how well this will show up on video, but the bear from a 1983 book that was How to Draw, that was used on 1983 annual. It was actually, the book was, I think, 1960 from the Walter Foster publication, How to Draw Bears, but it was used in 1983 by Central High School. Perhaps Walter Foster had a deal with schools to use his stuff from his books for clip art or whatever. I'm not arguing that they had the right to use it. I'm just saying that's what the bear looked like on the 1983 yearbook. This is another drawing from that yearbook of a bear charging. Somebody took the head from the one bear and the body of this charging bear they combined it. That's what this image is. I actually did that in Photoshop, combining the two images to show what was done. And then showing, this is a screen cap. Might not be too visible on camera, but it's a screen cap of the mural that hangs in the gymnasium at Central. And they are more or less direct matches. And again, I'm not arguing anybody's rights or they're saying there's anything wrong with artists using this basis, taking these two figures and combining them and making it into one bear. I'm simply explaining the history of the bear mural. And the reason why I also bring it up is because there's not much distinction between those bears other than the other artists swapped heads. I do know the artist now who drew this. It was Larry Johnson and Kip Husk who drew it for pay. They were hired by the school and given credit back in 1984, I think it was. It was a mural that was painted, after a student had passed away, Scott Cowan. And it was painted, by the school commissioned it in his honor, but it was painted for hire by these two artists. Okay, and here is my drawing of the bear based off the mural, but still my distinct bear. And if you can tell the way they match up, there is distinctions between the bears, between my bear and this bear. There's more so between my bear and this bear than this bear and the other bear. And down here are just representations of how my bear has been colored and reused and everything, but it's still the same graphic of the bear, my same drawing of the bear. And I mentioned, I thought it was a school folder that had my signature. The one time they left my signature on something. Now let's not get confused here, because one of the guys, Jason, at the meeting from the EVSC, he wanted to argue that that was a form of credit. Well, I credit myself by signing a picture, but the fact that it made it onto at least one publication in 30 years was not necessarily due to the school. In fact, even less than he might have me think, because it was actually, I was told by Paul Neidig that item, which actually was not a folder, but actually a program booklet for the basketball team. They actually gave me a copy of that, and it was not printed through the school. It was printed for the school, but not through the school. So it's interesting to think one of the instances where my signature actually made it intact onto a completed published form was not because of the printer at Central. It was the printer, in this case, from whoever printed that basketball program. But anyway, so I've had past videos detailing this whole situation, and I actually do more comparisons for you on there so you can see the difference. What's funny is they were going to show me other bear images, because they were acting pretty much like any time you see a bear in roughly the same position or a charging position, that Jason would have me believe that you couldn't tell the distinction between the bears. And this is inane and utterly stupid claim, to be honest. He was trying to say he couldn't tell the distinction between the bears. Let me show you again. Okay. If you can see clearly on the video, can you not tell the difference between these bears and this one on the end here? Is there not enough distinction to be able to tell which is which? Maybe there isn't, but I think there is definitely distinction differences. And then, furthermore, Paul Neidig claimed that he did, in 2005, scan the bear artwork. He claims he's never saw the original artwork, but yet somehow he got a copy that he scanned, and then he colored on the computer. I never colored the original. It was in black and white, so yeah, any coloring was done by somebody else. But he did claim that he colored it, and that because the lines weren't even fit for print, he went ahead and blackened lines, and he acted like he kind of went over it and removed certain things or whatever. And Actually, the only thing he might have removed is the signature. Excuse me for a second, I'll show you something. This publication is the basketball program that featured my bear image. It's the one where they actually left my signature on it. They conceded that this was my drawing. In examples of bear images that they were saying were that many varied uses and that it's hard to determine one bear from another, that was one of their arguments. This bear here, they were using as their example too, and claiming that any of the ones without signature, they just couldn't verify that it was actually my drawing. This bear here, what was funny about it, some artists after me did include or draw a background, but they still used my basic image. It was superimposed onto the background that they drew. But this artist did actually retain my signature. They just took it from over here and shifted it over here. It's right there, and it matches up to the signature on this. They did not even realize what they were showing me. They did not realize there was a second example of my signature being shown. And they still try to say that any time that it's been used and that it has no signature, they can't verify that it's mine. Even though this is line work, it's easy to compare with other images and such. But that's what they're trying to play at. The one lady, Pamela Height, was trying to argue that somehow, because mine was based off a mural, that it's actually the bear mural that's the mascot that's in use. Which isn't, it's not paintings on the mural that's on the banners. It's not painting of the murals that's on these, buttons and t-shirts and paperwork that they have. It's my line work. And yet she would have you believe, she would have me believe certainly, that anytime you see my drawing, or what I'm saying of course is my drawing, because it is, she is trying to say that anytime you see this bear image, that this exact image, without color or with color, but the line work, that is not my work unless it has signature, which they only will concede to those 2 points. The one item they would only concede to before I spotted it and showed them the other one. They were trying to get me to agree on a resolution where they would have me recreate the 1987 drawing and sign it. And they would display that drawing, the recreation, and they would display that in the Hall of Fame at Central and just note that I drew that recreation. In other words, it's kind of a way around trying to officially give me credit for the 1987 drawing, which has been reproduced and reused all these years. They would, in fact, like I said, just give me credit for the new drawing. I even asked if there could be some kind of thing that said in there that I also contributed for 30 years to the bear drawing in some capacity. They the best I could get is Paul Nagy said we'll have to figure something out. So basically they're still putting up a wall there, and at the end of the meeting I was kind of leaning towards, go ahead and do that and being done with this. But the truth is, I don't sit well with the fact that, I'm still been done wrong. And I thought, no, I felt too pressured at that meeting to agreeing to go ahead and hand them over a recreated drawing on the basis that not only would they give me credit, of course, for the actual drawing, this time more disputable, but that they would actually put anything to the fact that I had anything to do with the drawings that they've been using for 30 years. Since I wasn't given a clear answer about that part of it, it was obvious to me that this was just a way to placate me, to silence me, I guess, on the matter. without actually having to do what I've been asking all this time. So, as it stands, earlier today I was on the verge of just going ahead and saying, yeah, okay, here's the drawing, and let's put it in the case, and just at least there's some kind of recognition for that drawing, and maybe a passing mention of somehow me contributing in the past to their work, to their mascot. And I thought, you know, like I said, the more I thought about that, no, I can't do it. I can't live with that. I can't live with them doing it. And frankly, maybe it's better not to have nothing at all in the school other than the bear that I drew that they've used all these years, but nothing else from them, new to offer me on this point. If it's not worth it, if they don't actually want to give me my real credit. And so, no, I'm going to fight this. I'm going to get the credit I deserve, or at least I'm going to keep fighting. Better to go down fighting than to never have fought for it at all. Anyway, we'll see where the updates go from here. If you want to support the cause, I have a cafe press shop where I set up shirts with a design of the newer drawing of the bear that I drew, a new drawing of a bear. I do not call it the central bear, even though he's plowing through the older image. I make no money from this cafe press endeavor here, this specific one about the bear. I'm simply going to list them at cost, which, you know, Cafe Press has a base cost that takes care of printing charges and such that they get the money for, and I'm sure a little bit of income for the company. I have not raised my price above their base cost, so that means I make nothing from it. And that means that I want, because I want to keep this as pure as possible. I'm not doing this particular thing to make money. I'm doing this because I think it's the right thing to do. Not only because, admittedly, it's my art, but just in general, it's the right thing to do. And so if you want to support that and you want to buy one of the shirts, or I got a mug or whatever else, then feel free to do so. Whether you do or not, you know, that's fine. But it's out there if you want to. It's a way to, you know, support proof or support of the bear or Matt's art. Anyway, that's about all I got to say right now, other than also visit the Facebook page for the bear and the petition. I'm continuing to take signatures on the petition, and apparently that's going to have to be a thing. I'm going to have to keep pushing, because EVSC is just not willing to do the right thing. Not really. Anyway, thanks, and I'll update you again.